It's been almost 2 weeks since the new GTA Online Summer DLC update released, and one of the major changes of this update were buffs to certain vehicles inside of the game. There were only 2 vehicles that Rockstar hinted at and teased players with in the weeks leading up to the release of the bottom dollar bounties update, and we jumped in day 1 of the DLC to test out just how big some of these buffs were to these 2 vehicles that received them. And let me just say, the differences when it comes to the PvP side of these vehicles are negligible. When it comes to the PvE side of the game, however, which is the side that's arguably the side one of these vehicles is more suited to regardless, is actually pretty good. But nonetheless, I think once again we have another example of Rockstar seemingly over-promising when it comes to buffs in the game, and the reality never matches the energy that they originally put out when they make their announcement about it. They know players would be excited about these vehicle buffs in game, but now it just seems like once again, players are disappointed. Why does Rockstar always do this to GTA Online players? When it comes to an upcoming nerf they talk about, they have a track record of saying buzzwords like minor or small tweaks, and then when the DLC releases, that feature or vehicle or whatever activity it is gets nerfed into the ground. This is something we're going to be discussing here today, so thank you so much for checking out the video, and with that said, let's jump into it. Well, Grace Whitney, we meet again. I feel like I've met you now so many times, and I'm kind of tired of meeting you. I want to meet a different most wanted target, but nonetheless, we're going to go after you anyway, because you are one of the higher paying ones at $130,000. This is just content, man, that I wish we could farm once an hour like a legendary bounty in Red Dead Online, considering, you know, it is $130,000. It's not totally game-breaking amounts of money, and there's other missions we could do, like an auto shop contract or something like that. Those don't have cooldowns. You could farm all different contracts back to back to back. I don't see a reason why these can't have like a 1-hour cooldown on them. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not here in this video to talk about this. This is something we already talked about yesterday in my video discussing basically mission payouts with this DLC, and of course the cooldowns. But what I want to talk to you guys about today, which I alluded to in yesterday's video, mentioning if you guys wanted to see it, and you guys said you were interested in the idea, so I might as well come out with this video. We're here to talk about the Sparrow and the Bombushka buffs in this new update. Now, of course, this is something I covered in my patch notes and major features that were changed video. Like originally when this DLC came out, I showcased them in game with some video footage so you can kind of see the visual example of what the Sparrow was like after the buff, and same thing with the Bombushka. But I figured for the sake of this video now we can actually have a conversation about it because I really just touched on it, right? So let's talk about the Bombushka buff first. Players were really excited to see what would happen with this because, of course, Rockstar said the Bombushka and the Sparrow were getting armor buffs with this new DLC, and so I was excited specifically for the Sparrow because it's a relatively weak helicopter, and even, I guess, after this buff, it kind of is weak as well. But let's talk about the Bombushka first. Rockstar said in the patch notes that the Bombushka would tank 3 RPGs, 3 homing rockets, 6 railgun shots, and 7 explosive sniper rounds originally, and now after the buff, it tanks 4 RPGs, 4 homing rockets, 8 railgun shots, and 10 explosive sniper rounds. Maybe with the explosive sniper rounds, that sounds like almost a 50% buff, but when it comes to the railgun shots, the RPGs, and the homing rockets, that is not a 50% buff in the health of this actual aircraft. And the problem with it is that you'll still be able to take down players out of the sky. If you are PvPing with it, you'll still be able to shoot down the plane really fast because the engines will go out and it's basically game over from that point. Anyway, it doesn't matter how many more the actual aircraft can survive before it physically blows up because you're not going to be able to drive it and fly it after that. And then with the Sparrow, it's sort of a different situation here, which is kind of frustrating. The Sparrow actually could only tank 1 RPG, 1 homing rocket, 1 railgun shot, and 3 explosive sniper rounds. When they said they gave this a 50% buff, this is what they basically did to it. Still tanks 1 RPG, 1 homing rocket, 1 railgun shot, and 2 more explosive sniper rounds, so it can tank 5. Now, I don't think the issue is in this, because the good part about this buff, which is what I was concerned about here, is the fact how you can be much more aggressive when landing that helicopter. The skids are very stiff, right? They're not like the Buzzard, they don't flex. They're not like any other chopper in the game that have wheels that you land on, actual landing gear. When it comes to the Sparrow, if you would have any sort of hard landing, you'd basically start to smoke in the chopper right away, which is a massive problem, right? And so now after the buff, that's the big advantage of the Sparrow, is you can be a lot more aggressive and faster in your landing, which I think is a good thing. So I think Rockstar definitely nailed it in terms of just general health, because you can hit the rotors of the Sparrow on buildings and objects and they're not going to blow out super fast. You can have harder landings and take harder landings, and you're also not going to run into problems where the chopper is going to start smoking, which which I think was the biggest problem the Sparrow had before. I don't think any player really wanted to see more armor with the Sparrow. I don't think Rockstar should have buffed the armor all that much. Maybe like one extra RPG would have been nice or something like that, because players are pretty good with RPGs if you use them in free roam and you're PvPing. But just for the fact that we have the skids, they're stiff, they don't flex, and now you could be a little bit more, I guess, careless with the helicopter before it starts to smoke. I think that makes it very forgiving now. But the Bombushka is basically useless. That thing should tank as many rockets as like an MOC or an Acid Lab. I don't see why. Rockstar always says that they're gonna buff things in this game, especially when it comes to other weaponized vehicles and stuff like that. They're gonna buff things, and then the buff just is not nearly sufficient enough. You know, I think a lot of players would agree with me when I say that when Rockstar says they're gonna buff something like that, they take a half step and don't really get the job done. But then when they say they're gonna nerf something, they nerf it into the ground. Case in point, we have a whole bunch of other features nerfed with the bottom dollar bounties DLC, with the cooldowns on the tow truck and the salvage yard now. I think that's very frustrating and ridiculous. Rockstar, I would assume, introduced the cooldown on the tow truck missions for the salvage yard because players would exploit the game, or not even exploit, they just abuse the autosave system and they blow up the truck to get a shorter tow truck mission, so they didn't have to drive 4 miles in the tow truck. So you have the 5-minute cooldown. But now, even after you do a successful 4-mile tow, you'll come back to your salvage yard and you still have the 5-minute cooldown. When it comes to a money grinder like me or anyone else in the game, what we're gonna do is we're not gonna hang around for 5 minutes because that's a waste of time, but we're also not gonna go get a police dispatch work mission done in the meantime just to come back to the salvage yard and then do another tow truck. We've already moved on. We're going to do another auto shop robbery. We're going to chip away at the Cayo Perico heist setups or the Dr. Dre contract, or we're working on selling another top tier supercar in our import-export vehicle cargo business, or we're working on any of the other businesses in the game, or collecting wall safe money, anything like that. We're not worried about that second tow mission, so the second salvage bay is almost pointless just because of the fact that we were only coming to the salvage yard to do the 2 tow truck missions back to back, collect the wall safe money, and maybe do the salvage yard robberies, and then leave, and that's it. But now we just can't do that, and so you either have to do a lower paying activity than what you were going to do after you did the 2 tow truck missions anyway, or you just have to move on and sacrifice one of the tow truck missions, which is basically the way I'm playing this game at this point. And I find that pretty frustrating. I mean, it's not the absolute end of the world, but I do find it very frustrating that Rockstar seems to always do this with their updates. They're saying they're going to buff things, and they don't really buff it that great. But when they say they nerf something, or they're going to nerf something, they nerf it into the ground, man. Like, why do they always do this? I don't want to sound like very upset at this DLC because I still have fun with these missions and stuff like that, but there are just little things that and little choices they made with this DLC that I am very, very upset with, that I don't think make sense, and things like that. I love how I pull out an unsilenced weapon and immediately now we go in guns blazing. I did that intentionally. I wanted to get into a nice gunfight, but I find it hilarious for the fact, oh, I don't have a bag. Okay, let's grab this. You know, funny enough, everyone tells me I always miss like the secondary loot on these missions. I know it's only $5,000, but it's really funny because this is the first time I'm doing it right here. I never pay attention to this. I've ran past this painting like 3 or 4 times now that we've done this. And I don't know, is it worth the 5,000? I guess it's nice for the roleplay aspect. Maybe I should start doing it, but I just keep forgetting. I just always, like, literally just ignore it because I'm like, oh, I'm just chasing the enemies. I want to get into the gunfight, things like that. So there you go. For everyone leaving comments telling me I missed the painting. Not this time, sucker. All right, so now let's move upstairs. I've said my piece, right? I don't have any armor? Oh, no, I do. That's weird. It didn't show up at first. So I've said my piece. Let's just enjoy the rest of this bounty before we bring good old Grace Whitney back to the bail office. I think it is a good idea to kind of go in loud and aggressive before you get up to the roof, just because you can get into the fun gunfight to secure her. You also risk her blowing up when you shoot the enemies out of the chopper. Last time I did this, the helicopter literally almost landed on her and killed her. Watch it happen this time. Imagine if it happens this time. That would be pretty crazy to see. Let's just take out all these guys. No matter here. Oh, that's tough. And then there's a couple more enemies around this corner. Take you out. There's one more guy, I want to say. Yep. Alright, now let's take out the guys in the chopper. I would love to shoot the pilot. Okay, I shot him. Please don't land on Grace. No, he's not going to. Oh, that guy. Ooh. Oh, that's tough, buddy. That's tough, buddy. You should have risked jumping out onto that roof and breaking all your legs before you blew up. Oh, we have another chopper approaching. So let's heal up. This one, I think, was... I really risked having Grace Whitney basically die right here. Oh, please don't land on her. One of these days is gonna happen. I don't know, maybe Rockstar has a program so where that can't happen, but I swear one of these days it's absolutely gonna happen where I'm gonna shoot these enemies out of the chopper and they're just straight up gonna land on our head. So let's swap to our stun gun, take down Grace. Let's taser right. Oh, I missed. Okay, hold on. Don't shoot me, lady. No, 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 no. No, no, no. I'm not here to kill you. I'm just here to collect you, bring you to the bail office because you've jumped bail. Tase you right in the dome. That's what you get for faking your death. Now let's secure you. It always freezes up here. I swear I always think the mission's glitched, but it just takes a second. Oh, it really seems glitched right now. What the heck? I can't. There we go. Why does that take so long? Does that happen to you guys as well? Let me know in the comments. Jeez. All right. Perfect. Now let's just drive her back. Well, we're pulling up on the bail office now. I wanted to bring you guys this video just as another type of live gameplay, fun live gameplay discussion, things like that. You guys said you wanted to see it yesterday. I can definitely come out with some more of these, just playing through some of the fun content in the bottom dollar bounties update. I know the payouts could be better. I wish Rockstar removed the cooldowns entirely. The missions still, to me, are pretty fun, so I'm going to continue to make videos. Of course, I love playing GTA Online in general, playing Red Dead Online with you guys, things like that. Let me know if there's any other videos you want to see here on the channel. I have some fun stuff coming out this week. Of course, we have the Tuesday update reminder for the weekly update in case you guys missed out this week, or of course the Wednesday update news video for the new event going live Thursday. I probably will have like an AFK money guide as well, because I know a lot of the AFK methods were patched with the DLC. A lot of players are kind of wondering how they can make more money with the DLC. After the DLC, while they're AFK, you know, while they go to work or school and just leave the game running without them getting kicked for inactivity. And there are a few methods that you can do on PlayStation. Not sure if they work on Xbox or PC, but I know just so far testing on PlayStation 5 they seem to work, so we'll just have to see in the comments when that video comes out. But let me know if you guys want to see that in the first place. You know, I only want to come out with videos that you guys want to see. I make these videos for you guys at the end of the day. If no one was watching, then, well, you know, I'd probably not make videos. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the support here on the channel with all the videos. Of course, lots more to come. I'm definitely excited to continue to make more videos. Lots of new money guides, vehicle guides, the weekly update discount guides on the vehicles and properties, money guides for the bonuses when we actually have some good bonuses, because this week, and of course I'm sure next week as well, the money bonuses won't be that great. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys all have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next GTA 5 online video. Adios, amigos.